Greetings, Rainmakers, and welcome to How to Thrive in 2025. We got an exciting webinar here for you where we're going to go through how you can take your business online. Digital success is hard. It can be challenging, especially if you've run a business but don't know a lot about the digital side of things. So we've got a presentation here that should take you through all the steps that you need to make your business an online success. Let's go ahead and get started here. And for the participants in the call, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a note in the chat and I'll call it out when I see it. We will also have a question time at the end. If you have any questions that you think are going to be more in depth or just don't necessarily fit anywhere comfortably. So this webinar here is for any people who fit one of the following categories or something similar. So you've got a small business already, but you want to take it to the next level. You've done a little on the digital side, or you've thought about digital, but you haven't done much with it. Maybe you tried it before, but it didn't work out. You started social media, you messed around with Google, but you didn't really have a coherent strategy. Or you've been burned before by fly-by-night quote-unquote agencies who took your money and left you with no results. I know people in all four of these buckets, and a lot of them have challenges getting their business online, and this is meant to get you over that hump. So if you've been wanting to take your business to the next level, now is the time. There's a lot of things changing in digital. There's a lot of opportunity. You can grow beyond a social media account. You need to build a marketing plan with intentionality. It's time to thrive in 2025. If you don't have a lot of background in marketing, it's kind of hard to nail down. I mean, I've heard a lot of people kind of conflate it with advertising before. And though advertising and marketing are similar, they're not the same. When we're talking about marketing, you've probably done a little bit, even if it's just by accident or it's been a little haphazard. We want to make that intentional, specifically for digital. And you need to understand what that means. So the dictionary definition, the American Marketing Association says, marketing is the activity, set of institutions, and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. That's a big word salad there. I prefer a little bit more simplified definition than this. So our simplified definition here for today's purposes is marketing is putting the right offer in front of the right person at the right time so they'll take action. Everything that we do with our business is devoted to that outcome. So first, we need to start with knowing your audience. Any marketer worth their salt starts with audience understanding. We have a term for it, KYA, know your audience. If you've been running a business already, even if you don't have much marketing right now, you probably know your audience to some degree. We talk about a couple of different ways of doing that. You can do research ahead of time, especially if it's a market segment you don't know well. If you have a business already, you probably do know that segment. You can rely on your own experiences. Famously, Patagonia, Yvon Chouinard, the founder, started making stuff that he himself wanted to use because he was an adventurer and an outside, backpacker, mountaineer, surfer, that sort of thing. So he created stuff that he liked and he would use. If you're tapped in with your community and you see a need, say, you're in a place that doesn't have a barber, and you see people are looking for a specific subset of haircuts. Like the couple of years ago, there was the Peaky Blinders show where everybody wanted to get that like weird undercut. And so you become the person who provides that because your community is looking for that. There's a few different ways to know your audience, but basically it boils down to, is it something that you know that you're providing? Is it something that your community is looking for that you're providing? Or can you do some research and find out what people are looking for that you can provide? Once you have that audience, it's time to translate it online. So if you have that via brick and mortar, that's great. But you're missing out on a whole segment, even if you're a local business, that you can tap into. So these are the 4 Ps that you need to know as a marketer when you're getting online. First is product, the second is price, third is place, and the fourth is promotion. First, product. You should have a clear idea of your products or services already. What is it that you can provide? What is it that you do? If you have a business already, you have your product line. If you're building one from scratch, you're trying to fill a need. So your product or service will have to be something that does that. What you need to know is what makes you different. We call this a superlative. It doesn't have to be an absolute, but it does have to reflect what makes people choose you over someone else. Think least expensive, highest quality, most convenient. Um, for example, there's a particular, I like yerba mate iced tea. Sprouts sells it down the road from me. I can get it there. It's not very convenient, but it's cheaper. It's cheaper than it is if I get it at the convenience store. But my convenience store is most convenient. So Sprouts for me for that particular product is least expensive, but the convenience store is most convenient. So if I'm looking for convenience, I go to the convenience store. Makes sense? So for your product, your service, you need to have a superlative. Why do people come to see you? Uh, let's see, price. That's the second P. What are people willing to pay for your product or service? So when you're going digital, this is a little different depending on whether your business is locally oriented or not. If you've been geographically limited to this point, you need to be aware your competition might be different now. That may change the price that you can charge. So I have a co-op down the street from me. They sell produce and stuff that's local. It's a lot more expensive, but it's the only place. For a while, it was the only place that I could get vegetables until they opened a grocery store down the street. So I would buy stuff there, even if it was more expensive than the alternative, because I didn't want to drive as far. Now, uh, you know, if you expand that out, though, I could drive to the store and I could get my tomatoes for $2 or $3 cheaper, and a lot of people will do that. So your price is going to change depending on how big of an area you're covering. Generally, the higher your competition, the more people are in that area that are doing what you do, the lower your margins are going to be. Not always, but often. Same thing with when I started as a marketing writer. There are a lot of content writers cranking out articles for $10 a blog. I can't compete with somebody in Nigeria or the Philippines or Brazil. So what I had to do, because a lot of it was English as a second language, is set myself aside on quality, being able to follow the brief, my research, that sort of thing. Your price is going to depend on what people expect of you and the quality of services you can offer. A lot of other things that go into it too. Um, I see a note in the chat here. Is there a question there, Katie? Yeah.
Yeah, David, how much does price point matter for the business? Is quality the only factor?
Good. Yeah, good question there. Quality is not the only factor. Sometimes it can be almost an opposite effect of. So one of my buddies, Nathan, runs a tile business, or used to run a tile business. He found that he could not sell in some neighborhoods until he raised his price, $1,000, $2,000 for the job that he was doing, because even though he was doing good quality work, they expected to pay a higher price for it. So sometimes with luxury goods or with things where you're paying an extra premium, price may set expectation. On the flip side, if you're dealing with an audience, that is looking for a great value for something, you'll need to keep your prices low and often sell on, if your prices are lower, usually you're cranking through, more services, more products, that sort of thing to be able to actually make a living because your margin's lower. So to answer your question, price point matters a lot because it is an indication of your audience. It's an indication of who you're talking to. Um, and some audience will be filtered out depending on what your price point is, if that makes sense.
That does. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Our third P, place. Where are you selling? If you've been brick and mortar at this point, you may have a storefront. You may have some social media, but this answer for digital marketers should almost always, and I'm saying like 99% of the time, start with a website. Social media now has a lot of tools for selling. I mean, I keep seeing headlines about all the stuff that TikTok and Instagram are adding for shopping in the app. But the problem is you don't own it. You don't control how it's displayed, where it's displayed, whether it's going to show up in the algorithm. The cataloging, the tagging, the selling tools aren't nearly as robust as your own site will be. And if you're starting out, you can start out small with someone like Shopify, for example. Um, you can start a small store and sell a few products. But as you start to build volume, the fees get really, really expensive because they're designed around getting people in the front door for the cheap price, and then they'll kill you on the back end. So a lot of these solutions that are out there on the market don't offer you a level of control that you need to be able to be effective long term. Sure, this year, Instagram selling might work really well for you. What happens when the algorithm flips in a year? We've seen this with Google in the last 2 years. Google's gone way down in terms of referral traffic. There are multiple businesses that are in the graveyard right now because they did not build a robust enough infrastructure. They didn't own enough channels. They didn't own an audience that could survive the change that Google's bringing to the market. This is existential. You have to have a website, and you need to use that website to build an audience that you own, that you control, because otherwise you're putting all your eggs in the basket of a platform that does not care about you in the slightest. The last uh the last of our 4 Ps is promotion. If you are a local business looking to amplify foot traffic, Google My Business and AdWords are both great ways to stand out. Google My Business, we just wrote about this recently, but even as referral traffic is going down, Google My Business is important because it lets you get on the page with Google, even if they don't click through to your site and see you in the 10 blue links search engine results page. You're still there. You have access to your audience via reviews, via posting. They can see you in maps. They have access to rich data that you can, I mean, have that you can edit, that you can adjust. For social media, that's a big one as well. Uh, how you approach this, this is a massive topic. We're really just skimming over the surface here. But depending on a few factors, your product, your service type, your audience conversations, where they're happening, where your audience uses social media, that's going to determine how you approach social media. For example, and then also your kind of products or your services. So there's no use in doing things on Instagram if you don't have a visually interesting product or service, or if you can't get creative with it, or if your audience isn't on LinkedIn at all. There's no point in being on LinkedIn for you. Like you shouldn't bother. Um, there are ways to get around that. I mean, think of like Maersk, the shipping company, does pretty good creative work on Instagram, even though you wouldn't think of them as a visually interesting brand. But that's a level of like you need a staff. You need some people on staff that are like thinking about creative ways to do that. Generally speaking, where your audience is, what kind of product or service you provide. Those will determine uh, what platforms you engage with. There's tons of other things that go into the promotion side of things, just getting yourself visible. Content strategy, posting on your own site, that being blogs or vlogs or podcasting. But to start with, you need to get visible wherever your audience is going to see you. Um, that's the simplification of the question. So do some legwork, do some research, look at where people like you are talking online, and find that audience. Remember, it's right place, right time. I see another. There's another note here in the chat. Ed, what do you got for me?
Sure. In the context of Thrive in 2025, how does search engine optimization, I mean, for years people are saying, oh, SEO, SEO, how does that fit into the concepts of visibility and, what's going on with LLMs or artificial intelligence engines like ChatGPT and AI overviews?
Yeah, great question. That's super important right now. So as I've mentioned, referral traffic is trending down in Google. That being said, it is still the largest referrer of traffic worldwide. Um, it is still a vital component of your marketing strategy. Um, you need to let me rephrase this. I think most people think of SEO in terms of how do I get to the top of Google?
Hmm.
Google only likes you if people like you. The days of stuffing keywords in there and gaming the system are over. The same with LLM search. LLM search, what they're looking for is, uh, if I search for, say, my friend owns a cocktail supply store. If I search cocktail supply stores, Oklahoma City, she will show up because her store name is next to cocktail supply store OKC in a lot of different places, in publications, on her own site, on social media, wherever. LLMs are looking for those terms to be used together, and they will spit back that result. The same with SEO. The same with SEO is looking for um, do people are people talking about um, your business? Are people engaging with your business? Are they linking back to your business? Is it a quality resource? Um, so approaching SEO or LLM optimization as how do I game the algorithm is completely off base. What we do as marketers is create content that people like, create content that people are interested in, offer value through our services and our products, and then the SEO, the LLM optimization comes from that. Now, there are things that you can do to boost that via technical SEO things and through PR for LLMs is a big thing. But by and large, if you are creating good content, if you're providing value, a lot of that stuff will take care of itself. Does that answer
Got
your
it.
question?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Cool. All right. Um, let's see. Next steps. After you've gone through these four P's, you've decided you've seen who your audience is, you've gone through these four P's and kind of figured out what they are. Product, price, place, promotion. Bare minimum of planning that you have to do. Next step, get your home base set up. That's your website. You need that place that you own. Then you need to make yourself visible where your audience is. That means, and I would not put all my eggs in one basket. Like I said, we've said referral traffic a few times. Social media algorithms change. I've seen whole businesses lose their audience overnight because of a Facebook algorithm change because they over-indexed on just gaming the algorithm. What you're looking for is a broad spectrum of visibility across search engines, across social media, through your content that you're producing, either a blog, a vlog, or a podcast, usually. Consistent production of that. Um, you need to be visible wherever your audience looks, they should see you. Obviously, there's way more to it than this. Building a full scale marketing plan, building a digital ecosystem, this takes more time, more money, more commitment. We're literally just scratching the surface here. But if you want to get your business online, this is where to start. I've got another note here in chat. Yeah, Katie.
Yeah, David, I was just wondering, do you need a website to get to use all of the 4 Ps?
Um, Good question. Yes and no. Let me explain why. Um, so we have an ebook that we put out called Thrive in 2025, and one of the big points we make is you don't have to have a website to survive. You can build a business and literally never go online. I know plenty of people who are in that boat. But if you want to thrive, if you want to grow that business, if you want to create a digital asset that is not just you, that has, you could sell that asset, that brand, you can hand it off to a family member or a friend. You can grow it and have employees who still, are part of that group, and that website is sort of your digital property, your storefront, your ranch, your farm, whatever. Um, so you don't have to have a website to apply those things, but it is the home base for making your business grow. So you will rapidly find that if you don't have a website, you will run out of ways to use those 4 Ps. You will be limited in the ways that you can apply them. And long term, you won't have an asset that's yours that you're growing. You only have the brand name, and that is, pretty tenuous if you just have it on social media or it's just people calling you, if you're a plumber or contractor or whatever. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So as far as next steps here too, if you want some further reading, our Thrive ebook goes through this in much greater depth. We go through social media platforms, specifically a little bit about email marketing, some on the kind of content that you can create. Our Rainmaker Dispatch comes out constantly on a weekly basis. You can read we'll keep you up to date with all the news, with the tips on what's happening right now. Rainmaker Platform is our marketing platform that we support. We have a lot of clients on there who use our services, who are very happy with it. Everything from learning software to membership software to being able to do your own email marketing through it. It's all rolled into the one license. A really good value for money, and it makes it easy if you want to get started. So if you're interested in that, and then also we do services, we do consultation, we do strategy. Reach out to us for consultation, and we'd love to help you. So that's everything that we got prepared here. If you have questions, if you have comments, anything that you want to say in this section, uh, just feel free to sing out or drop it in the chat here. Um, okay.
Yeah, I have a question, David.
Yep. Yep.
So how many pages do I need to have on my website?
Yeah. That one, at the very least, homepage, about page, contact page, and then your vlog, podcast, whatever your content page, right? So basically, those four are the backbone of everything that you do. That's telling people who you are, telling people how valuable you are for them, giving a way to contact you, and creating a reason for them to come back. Basically, that's what that does for you. So those four are the essentials. You can build out from there. We have a lot more pages than that, but that's your starting point. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Well, and similarly, you know, building out a website or, having the digital, presence, I was told to build all these social media accounts, but I don't have anyone in some of those accounts. Uh, what is your recommendation, or how would you propose, a business build their social presence, or build their followers on social media sites?
Good question. Giant question. Um, there's a ton that goes into that, but fundamentally it comes back to um, providing value. So I've seen a lot of businesses that use social media as a loudspeaker, where the only time that they post something is if they're selling or they're putting out announcements or something like that. That's not really an effective way to use it. Social media is built around the concept of community. So instead of using it as just an outward bound channel, one of the best ways to build value is to provide value to your audience. So constantly be putting out content that is relevant to them, engage in conversations without being spammy. You have to provide value every single interaction that you make. Think of this as building a relationship, not uh not announcing. So
Mm.
you're listening, you're talking to them, whatever your community is. Say you're a local coffee shop, right? Um, your community is it's your customers, right? It's the other coffee shops in the city or community that you're in. It's the community around you, your town, or your neighborhood if you're in a larger area like New York, say. It's your um, broader, the coffee roasters, the coffee shops, the broader industry as a whole. Engaging in those communities, providing value for those communities will build connections, build rapport. It's like making friends or dating, you know. There has to be some quid pro quo. So if you're not providing value, there's no reason for people to follow you, no reason for
Mhm.
people to engage with you. But if you are, that will grow naturally. Don't think of it as something to be gamed. Think of it as something to be built. Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, following up on that, David, social media just seems like it just takes so much time. How often do I need to publish on social media for it to be effective?
It really it depends a lot. I can give you some like basic ground rules, but these change constantly, like every few months, every year. Posting, how often you should post on a platform. So say I can say like LinkedIn, post 3 to 5 times a week, but that'll change, within the next 6 months to a year, probably, depending on how the platform moves or how the audience changes. Um, I would say that information I would look up specifically, um, and keep an eye on it, monitor it. Because I can say right now, like Facebook, publish twice a day, uh, LinkedIn 3 to 5 times a week, um, Instagram once a day, like 2 or 3 times a week for stories, um, Twitter 2 to 3 times a day. But it really it will change over time. Um, the answer is the real answer that's not a number is however often your audience wants to hear from you before they start tuning you out. Uh, but that will change based on how much the algorithm is serving you, how often they're engaging with it. There's a lot that goes into that. So I can't give you a hard and fast answer because it will change constantly. All I'll say is keep an eye on the watchdogs of the industry, like Sprout Social, HubSpot, like those companies, they keep a finger on the pulse. And they'll, pretty much every year they'll publish something that says, hey, here's our recommended posting guidelines. So that's a good resource for that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Good.
Yep. Any other questions here, um, before we wrap up? No? Cool. Well, I appreciate everybody coming today. Some good feedback, some good back and forth here. Hope this has been useful to you. And if you're one of the people watching this after we've recorded it, I hope it's been useful to you as well. Thank you for coming, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.